Earlier today, during a campaign stop in the Live Free or Die state of New Hampshire, former Vice President Mike Pence delivered a speech on conservatism versus populism and the direction of the Republican Party under former President Trump's leadership. Take a look.
So I came here to Anselm College to simply say from my heart that Republican voters face a choice. In the days to come, will we be the party of conservatism, or will we follow the siren song of populism, unmoored to conservative principles?
All right, joining us now in studio, let's give a warm welcome. Former Vice President, 2024 Republican candidate Mike Pence is with us. Take a seat.
John, thank you.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
So obviously the line, a time for choosing, the famous Reagan speech.
Right.
Populism versus conservatism. You have said, and we've discussed this in great detail, you even said it in your speech today, that you are very proud of all the accomplishments of the Trump-Pence administration.
I am.
Okay. Was that a conservative-run administration? Because I think your policies were conservative, but in some cases a little more populist, especially when it came to getting out of endless wars, et cetera, things like that.
Well, look, let me begin by saying it's great to see you.
Thank you.
And I'm running for president because I think this country's in a lot of trouble. I think we need new leadership in the White House, and we need to decide here and now that Joe Biden will never be reelected as president of the United States. But to do that, I think it's not just going to be, who is our standard bearer, but what we stand for. And I want to agree with you very strongly. I think in the Trump-Pence administration, we governed as conservatives. We rebuilt our military. We stood with our allies, stood up to our enemies. I mean, we cut taxes, rolled back regulation, unleashed American energy, created more than 7 million good-paying jobs, and achieved energy independence for the first time in 75 years. And maybe most important of all, we appointed 3 conservatives to our Supreme Court who gave America a new beginning for the right to life. So we governed as conservatives. But I must tell you, I honestly believe that there's a rising movement within the Republican Party that I think will be a part of a debate in this primary about whether or not we're going to stay on that track of those timeless conservative principles of a strong national defense, American leadership in the world, limited government, fiscal responsibility, and the right to life, or whether we're going to follow the siren song of populism, unmoored to conservative principle. And by that, I mean there are voices in our party that not just my former running mate, but others that were on that stage with me a few weeks ago, that want to walk away from American leadership on the world stage, literally want to abandon our commitment as the arsenal of democracy and the leader of the free world. On the national debt, look, we have a national debt the size of our nation's economy for the first time since World War II. Joe Biden's policy is insolvency. He won't even talk about the entitlements that represent 70% of our federal budget today. And it disappoints me that the former president and others vying for the Republican nomination have the same position as Joe Biden. On the right to life, with maybe one exception in the field, virtually every candidate for the Republican nomination wants to marginalize the right to life, relegate it to the states only. And I want people to know that if I'm president of the United States, you're going to have a champion for the right to life in the Oval Office. And we'll fight for protections for the unborn in every state house in America and in Washington, D.C.
Let me get into a little bit more of the specifics. In many ways, and I've said this to you and I've said this to former President Trump, it was the perfect partnership, but for the end. Is that a fair, and I know it's a big but. I know there was a big disagreement.
No, we had a great working relationship.
Right. And I got to see that. I was there enough, doing enough interviews that I saw that.
Yeah, look, President Trump was not only my president, he was my friend. Some people think we were a little bit different, right?
A little?
But the truth is,
personality-wise, you guys are pretty different.
I honestly think that in 2016, Donald Trump told America that he would govern as a conservative. He obviously had a very diverse political past. He'd taken liberal and conservative views over the years.
There was a lot of doubt about that at the time.
Well, there was, and some people, I'm humbled to say it, but some people thought that his selection of me as someone that had been in the conservative movement almost as long as you have, gave evidence of the fact that he meant it.
Thanks a lot. Almost as long.
But look, I give President Trump a lot of credit. We did govern as a conservative administration.
Do you think he would change this time? And what do you think changed?
Well,
or is changing? Or what views do you believe he would change on?
Well, I think there are voices in the movement far beyond the Republican primary today that look at war raging in Eastern Europe.
Ukraine.
And suggest to the American people that we have to choose between being the leader of the free world and solving problems here at home. You know, I made it very clear, look, anybody that says that we can't solve the problems facing American families here at home, that we can't secure our borders, bring law and order to our cities, and be the leader of the free world, has a pretty small opinion of the greatest nation on earth. We can do both. We're America.
Let me ask you
and
this.
I believe that it's imperative on us to produce leadership that is willing to step forward and say that.
I believe there would be a big difference on the issue of Ukraine, for example, if it was the Trump-Pence administration. You would have insisted and demanded that Europe pay their fair share and protect their continent first. They're not doing that. Also, just the way you beat the caliphate and took out Soleimani and Baghdadi and associates, you would, if you fought a war or committed to even some of taxpayer money, you would insist they fight to win it. You wouldn't have vetoed 28 MiGs the way Joe Biden
Sean, the
did.
Russians would have never invaded Ukraine.
I agree with
because
that.
we'd have never had that disastrous revolt in that country. We got to have leadership to stand strong on the world stage. And this is an important debate. It's just now beginning. Labor Day is behind us. The Republican primary is getting started. But I want people to know that I'm the most qualified, the most proven, the most tested conservative in this field. And I'm going to fight for a Republican Party that's grounded in those timeless conservative principles.
We'll see you out at the Reagan Library, if not sooner. Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.